very exciting days.
Yes, we are.
Aren't we? There's a huge attack against the UK right now. We're in the middle of more confusion. We're in the middle of more destruction against families, aren't we? When the very fabric of godly families is being just stripped away until anything and everything, gender issues where people, they're focusing and not allowing people to be who they are. And it feels like the devil is determined to bring chaos to this nation. But there has been words from heaven to say that the revival is coming to this nation, and it's going to be greater than the days of John Wesley. And in John Wesley's day, he used to come to Bath regularly, and then he would preach to 12,000 without a microphone. That's quite awesome, isn't it? 12,000 people regularly gathered, and that was probably at a time when, what would the population of Bath be then? Maybe 24 or 30,000. Like almost half the city would turn out to hear this man preach the gospel. And sometimes we can get really discouraged because if we spend our time reading the papers and listening to the news, it's like you just sit there traumatized actually by all the things that are being said and done. It says of the sons of Issachar, it says they understood the times. And they didn't understand the times by reading the times. Do you understand? It wasn't that they scrutinized all the newspapers and said, we understand. No, they heard from heaven, deep within their spirit, and they knew what to do. How exciting. Do you know what? We're living in the days, not only that revival is coming, when God is reviving His church, His people, so that we step into everything that's been designed for us. And it's almost like there's this moment we're in as a nation right now, and as believers. We're in this moment where we're going, what am I supposed to do right now? About 20 years ago, we heard a guy come to Bath. He was called Roger Mitchell, and he prophesied something. He said, the day is coming when the ordinary man in the street will wake up one morning and he will just say, I've got to find out who Jesus is. He'll be unchurched, not knowing what he's talking about, but he'll have this, something will have happened while he's asleep. And I thought, you know what, that's one of the signs that revival is coming. That was 20 years ago. My sister called me yesterday, and she said to me this. She has a daughter who needs a carer. The carer arrives and talks to my sister and says, can you help me? Because my daughter, who's in her 30s, woke up this morning and said, I've got to find out who Jesus is. She's unchurched, she's not 3 generations of non-Christians in the family, and she wakes up and she says, I've got to find out who Jesus is. So my sister says, no worries, introduce me to her, I'll tell her. How exciting. You see, those are like little green shoots that God wants us to take hold of by faith and begin to declare out. You don't just say, oh, that's nice, isn't it? Oh, lovely. I'll have another cup of tea, please. No, we have to take them as green shoots, don't we? What about what's happening in the Muslim world? Sometimes we're kind of, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. What I've heard is from several sources is this, that now it is commonly spoken about amongst Muslims worldwide, and they ask each other, have you had the dream of the man in white? And those that have the dream of the man in white wake up knowing that it's Jesus.
Praise God.
And isn't that? I mean, I'm just going, what? And the revival that's going on in Iran is so powerful that millions are coming to Christ without any missionaries. They estimate something like 7 million. And we're living in those kind of days where massive worldwide things are sort of shooting to and fro, And we're going, oh my goodness, what do I do? What do I do now? Am I just supposed to live my life here in England, happy chappy, let's be nice, do our work, and go to church on a Sunday? Or is there something bigger? Is there something that God wants to get our attention on right now to actually, understand what we're supposed to do? They understood the times, and they knew what to do. And probably a couple of years back, I said to God, you know what, I don't know what to do. Do we just pray for 2 hours instead of 1 hour? What do we actually do in the middle of this? Do we preach the gospel, or is there something even more than preaching the gospel? Hello? I'm asking questions because we need to ask questions about what's my role right now. And so I want to turn you to an unusual scripture for a Sunday. Luke chapter 4. Hello. Jesus, it says, verse 1, full of the Holy Spirit, returned from the Jordan and was led by the Spirit into the desert. Into the desert. Where for 40 days he was tempted by the devil. He ate nothing during those days, and at the end of them he was hungry. That's a bit of an understatement. Do you think that would be an understatement for any of us, wouldn't it, after 40 days? After 40 days I'm feeling a bit peckish. And the devil says this to him. He says, you're the Son of God, tell this stone to become bread. And Jesus answered, it's written, man does not live by bread alone. It's almost like Jesus has been eating the Word of God for 40 days, and it has nourished him. Do you know that, is it 2 centuries ago, those ancient people, those fathers, they decided to take that word literally, that you could actually live on the Word of God, and they said, well, we're not going to eat anything more, we're just going to live. And for several years, they lived without having any food because they took that scripture and said, it must be possible because of what Jesus said, that he could be nourished in his body by absorbing the Word of God. That's astonishing, isn't it? You know, there are some people who really push the boat out. They've looked at that and thought, let's do that then. If Jesus could do it, we could do it. So the next thing he says, the devil led him up to a high place, showed him all in an instant all the kingdoms of the world, and he said to him, I'll give you all their authority and splendor, for it's been given to me, and I can give it to anyone I want. And so if you worship me, it will be yours. Here's the quick route, the fast route to having what you want. Just worship me, you can have it now without all the trouble. Jesus says, it's written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only. Then the devil led him to Jerusalem and had him stand on the highest point of the temple. If you're the Son of God, throw yourself down from here, for it's written, he will command his angels concerning you. And Jesus answered, it says, do not put the Lord your God to the test. When the devil had finished all this tempting, he left him until an opportune time. A more opportune time. Woo! It's interesting, in another gospel, it actually says angels came to minister to him. In fact, that angels are ministering spirits sent to serve us. And Jesus, what I want to say today is this: Jesus is the pioneer of our salvation. You all agree? He's the one who went in front and to make a way for us to follow in his steps. Yes? That's what pioneers do. And he came not just to set us an example, not just to die for our sins, he actually came to open a way for us to live like Adam lived and Eve lived in the garden before the fall. Because Jesus came as the second Adam. First Adam fails, second Adam comes along and he does what Adam failed to do. And what he's doing is demonstrating to us what it's like to live in an intimate relationship with the Father. Now, for probably 30 years as a Christian, I really believed in God as the Father. I really believed. If you said, do you believe God's your Father? I said, yes, of course. I've read the Word. I believe it. He's my Father. But in recent years, what I've been on a journey of He's actually becoming intimate with this Father. Because that's what Jesus was with his dad. He lived out of an intimate, lifelong connection with the Father. That wasn't like, oh yes, God, you're up there, I'm down here, I believe you're my Father. I believe. He didn't just do that, he actually had a relationship. And what I've discovered is this, that religion pushes God very, very high and pushes you very, very low. Guess what? When I was being brought up in the north of England, you can probably tell my accent's a bit coloured by coming from Lancashire. I was a bit surprised to get a bottle of water from Yorkshire. You know? Act like, are they trying to... No. But we were told in our church that we were but miserable worms in the sight of God. Or start pushing you down very low. I thought to myself, when they said those things, I thought, why couldn't I have been a happy one? Why did I have to be a miserable one? If I were to live under the ground, could I just be happy living under the ground? But no, they actually said to us, you are but miserable worms. And of course, God was unapproachable. He had this huge throne that he lived in unapproachable glory, and we were full of everything that was against him. And so they magnified the distance between us. But Jesus did not live like that. And he came to demonstrate that we could live in a totally different way, where we knew God as a Father in the most personal issues of our lives.
Amen.
Woohoo! That's what he wants. You see, I don't know how many of you are fathers in this room. Just wave your arms to me. How many of you are fathers? How many of you have got children? Yes. Do you know what? What do I want? What do I really want as a dad? Our children have grown up, aren't they? Lovely and gorgeous they are. What do I actually want? Do I just want to see them every year and just say, hi, nice to see you. Are you coming for Christmas Day? Oh, just stay for lunch. We don't, it's a bit too much friendly weather. No, I actually want to be with them. I want to be near them, and I want to speak into their lives, and I want to encourage them. Because my job as a dad is to lift their heads up, and God is the lifter of our head. And that is a fathering activity. A couple of months back, our daughter was visiting from Canada. She works for Catch the Fire there. And our son-in-law, they came to visit. One night, fairly late, they got their children in bed, and she comes into the lounge. It's in darkness because just the light from the hallway is coming in. She sits on the couch next to me. She leans over and she puts her head on my shoulder. I put my arm around her, and for 20 minutes she says to me, oh, I so love being with you, Dad. I'm going, don't get me emotional. No, I didn't say that. I so love being with you, Dad. And I said, what are the things you're facing right now? And she poured her heart out to me. She's got her head here, she's pouring her heart out. And I'm beginning to minister to her and just say what I feel as a dad for her. Asking her questions, not telling her things like, right, you need to do this, and then do that, and then do the other. No, I'm actually talking to her and I'm engaging with her. And for me, it was the most precious of times. So we don't see them very often. But that was the most precious of times I was having. It was dad-daughter time. And what was the essence of it? Intimacy, closeness, tenderness, sharing heart together. Hey, you know what? God desires that more than you can even believe is possible. He's actually wanting time with you. He wants to be with you. He even wants to go to the supermarket with you. You're looking as though I'm really off my trolley now. But actually, he does want to go to the supermarket with you. And sometimes we think, God, it's okay, you don't need to come to the supermarket. I'm sure you've got bigger issues with the government. I'll just pop to the supermarket, I don't need you. And he's like, oh, okay. He actually wants to be with you, because he says, I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you. I'm not going to walk out on you. I want to be right there in your life, doing ordinary, everyday things. Woo! So what is the journey from these temptations? What is the challenge that Jesus is facing in these temptations? It's very important for us to know, because we are going to face similar temptations. He's modeling something for us as a pioneer. He's saying, this is the kind of attack. He's almost standing there saying, okay, devil, give me your best shot, because I want to model something. I want to model something for all those who are going to come after me. The devil doesn't know that, but he's kind of there, ready to receive it. And the very first thing he says, what is it that is crucial for him and crucial for us? He says, if you're the Son of God. It wasn't to do with doing a miracle of making stones into bread. It was the big word at the beginning. It was, if you're the Son of God. And that is an identity thing. So if you're thinking about what is David heading for this morning, I'm going, it's very important to know who we are. Our identity is crucial to everything that follows. Even in this temptation narrative, it is crucial. And the problem is, the second one is to do with destiny. Right? The second temptation, to do with destiny. And a lot of Christians want to rush into their destiny before they've discovered who they are. Do you understand? You can nod your head freely. We often want to say, so what does God want me to do? What am I supposed to do? And God says, I'd like you to be first. I'd like you to know who you are first, so that you can step into your destiny in a much more powerful and effective way without the sweat and striving. Hello? If you're the Son of God. And the whole issue of, you know what? For years, I was a mathematics teacher for 25 years. And so you obviously, I need a lot of help and a lot of prayer. Because teaching mathematics in schools was never the most popular subject for kids. They would come in the room like, we don't like maths, sir. Oh, thank you so much. I'm your maths teacher. How lovely. And so the trouble with being successful in a job, it often becomes your identity statement that's stuck on your chest. If you came to me and just said, so David, what do you do? I'd say, oh, well, actually, I'm a mathematics teacher, and I'm this, and I've been promoted, and this is my senior position in the school now. This is who I am. Identity. And when God finally told me to leave teaching, it was traumatic to leave it, because it felt like I was leaving the kids that I'd been fathering in a way. But worse than that, it was the moment I left, I couldn't tell anybody that, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm going, I can't say I'm a teacher anymore. I left the teaching profession. Oh, I can't say this, I'm a senior member of the staff. It felt like my identity being torn off me, and I had these thoughts like, well, what do I say to people? Who am I? And you see, theologically in my head, I knew who I was. Do you understand? I read the scripture. Of course I knew I was a son. Of course I knew that I'd been born again into the family of God. Of course I knew it. I knew it here as a theological statement, but guess what? Relationship with God is not for your head, it's for your heart. It's right into your heart. And so although I knew answers here, in my heart, where identity is the big thing, I was going, who am I then? Who am I? Ooh. And I had to go through a process of the heart where, what happened for Jesus? Let's look at what happened to Jesus. Before he went into the desert, he had an encounter with the Father at his baptism. Didn't he? Didn't he? He had an encounter. It wasn't just, oh, I'll just be baptized. I put off being baptized until I was 16 years old, mainly because when anybody was baptized, all the women in the church would come and kiss them afterwards. afterwards, and I didn't want to be kissed by all these women at the age of 16, at 14 and 15 and 16. Finally at 16 I thought, I'll wait till it's a holiday Sunday and I'll ask to be baptized then. And most of those women have gone on holiday. It was like this big kind of issues. But they always said to us, when you get baptized, it's just obedience. And you've got to obey Jesus in the waters of baptism. But actually, God wants to encounter us in baptism because he's cutting something away. If you look at in Romans and Colossians, it's like there's something being cut away so that we can live the new life. It's so that we can live the new life. So there's got to be an encounter in the waters. And when we preach that and baptize people, actually they do have encounters in the water. It's not just getting wet because you're obedient to Jesus. It's actually a means of grace to receive more. So at Jesus' baptism, what does happen? He gets wet, he comes out of the water, and the heavens are open. And what's the first thing that happens? The Holy Spirit comes and lands on him like a dove on his shoulder. He's going. Have you ever seen any religious pictures about Jesus' baptism?
Yeah.
Jesus is standing there with his hands like this. He looks very, very serious. He's got a halo at the back of his head. And he looks as though he's sucking a lemon. But you know what? There's a dove on his shoulder as well. And it's like when the Holy Spirit's arrived, that was his best friend. Jesus had two best friends, didn't he? The Father and the Holy Spirit. They were living in this unity of love and tenderness and kindness and amazing heaven love with one another. So Jesus would have been very excited when the Holy Spirit arrived. Do you think? Not looking as though he's sucking a lemon. So it's this explosion of joy like, oh, Holy Spirit, you've come, and it's so good. But remember, he's modeling something for us. When we were baptized in water, they didn't tell me I could actually receive the Holy Spirit. They just said he's gone on vacation. So it doesn't happen like that in the Bible. Something's missing. And it took me about 20 years before I caught on with the fact that the Holy Spirit is alive and well and wants to come and baptize us unbelievably powerfully so we can speak with woo-hoo. Good. So that's happened. What's the next thing that happens? There's a voice. And what's the voice say? This is my son. What's that? That's Jesus putting for sure right on his chest. This is your identity. My son, this is your identity. You're my son. People are going to say terrible things about you. They're going to call you names. They're going to try and stick false identities on you until you barely know who you are anymore. But I want you to know for sure, forever, that you're my son. And I love you. And I'm delighted and thrilled and excited beyond words. I think his dad was like that, and is like that. Do you think God's like that, or is he always serious? Is he having a serious day today?
No.
I don't think so, because it says in the presence of the Lord there's fullness of joy. And that isn't just a half-British smile like, hello. Fullness of joy is having a riot. When you're laughing unbelievably, you can't stand up because you're laughing. Your stomach, you're aching with laughing. It's like in his presence there's fullness of joy. Woo! So this father then says to him, I love you and I'm totally delighted with you. You know what? If my dad had said that to me ever, which he never did, I'd have said to him, why? What have I done? What have I done? Why are you delighted with me? Because what have I done that's pleased you? That's what I said. But actually, Jesus, at that point, had done nothing. Nothing. Hello. You're looking as though I come from another planet. I may have come from the north of England, but I'm nearly normal. For a Christian. You see, we have to know it here. We have to know it by encounter. That Jesus had done nothing but the delight of his Father was on him. God didn't wait until he'd been to the cross and done everything and then said, oh, now I'm delighted with you. It wasn't for what he did, it was for who he is. Who are you? He's delighted because he has a son, because he's a father, he wants a family. So he's delighted, this is his only son. But he knows that because of what Jesus is going to do, he's going to bring many sons to glory. Many sons. Woo! It's exciting, isn't it? We are part of that incredible community of people who are being brought into the presence of God, not as slaves and servants, but as sons and daughters of the Most High. Woohoo! That's what's happening. We have been brought on the inside. And you know, for years I kind of believed I was a son here. But it was only when I began to hear the voice of God and I found out how to hear the voice of God. And I would just say to God every day something like, God, what do you want to say to me today? And I just wait and listen. Instead of gabbling on, you know, and what about this God? What about that? And I'm like, I'd actually shut up and listen. And guess what? He would say to me again and again, David, my son, I love you. And he seemed to say it every single day. I would start off, what do you want to say to me today, Father? And he'd say the same again. Until one day I said, I know that. And he said, immediately I heard his voice say, no you don't. Maybe it's going in, but it hasn't completely enveloped who you are and caused you to know for sure, I'm his son. So, first of all in my life, I had that false identity of, I'm a teacher, you see, that's who I am. Then that was kind of stripped off me. And then I was left with stuff in the heart. Do you realize that stuff in the heart for all of us needs to be healed? First words Jesus said in Nazareth, all in this same area in the Bible, he says, he reads the scripture, he says, for the Spirit of the Lord is on me, for he's anointed me to do what? To set prisoners free. And to heal, Isaiah 6:1, to heal the brokenhearted. And at one time I just thought, you know what, I'm not brokenhearted. There may be people in the church who had that time, but thank God it's not me. But actually, I discovered later when I asked him to show me what was in my heart. What stops me receiving the love of his Father? What keeps it as a theology and doesn't penetrate my heart? And immediately he began to show me lots of areas where my heart had been broken by my upbringing in a Christian home. But actually in the world as well, and at school and other situations. So, every one of us here, we need an encounter with the Father whereby we understand who we are. Who we are. It isn't just, it's important to believe it, but there is a place after believing, isn't there? Jesus said, you ask, you believe that you've received, and it will be yours. There's a third stage, isn't there, where you receive it. So I lived in the believing that God was my Father for a long time. And now it feels like I've stepped into a journey with him, whereby I actually feel his love here. I actually feel his love. Isn't it important to feel his love? You think? Because I can believe it. When I fell in love with this absolutely gorgeous wife here, and we've been married 50 years on August the 12th. Right? When I fell in love with her, oh, by the way, you can tell we were married prenatally. Can't possibly that way. But it wasn't just like, oh, I like the shape of your eyes, I tick all these things, yes. This is a Proverbs 31. We love it. Hallelujah. The only thing she doesn't do is get up at 5 buying and selling land. I don't know where it went wrong. But she is amazing. But you know what? It was not a head thing when I met this girl. I was just, within a short time, head over heels passionately in love. And I could feel it here. When I would have to leave her because I had to get back to my job, I could feel that like pain in my heart, really severe pain. I wanted to be with her for the rest of my life. Do any of you feel like that?
Yeah.
You want to be with them. And it affects your heart. And therefore I've got to have a heart connection, because if God is love, He's going to target your heart. He's not going for your brain. Your mind will be renewed by the Holy Spirit. In other words, you begin to learn how to think heaven thoughts instead of earth thoughts. And we need that. But actually, He's targeting your heart. Of course, if you ever get a Valentine's card, on the front of the card there's usually a red heart, not a grey brain. And if any of you girls, you get a card saying, I love you with all my brain, just write back and say, loser, weirdo, I'm not opening my brain for you to love it. You see, and this science fiction stuff talks about, all kinds of different things, about the brain in the sky that loves you or something. No, God is not a brain in the sky. The Father we know is as a God who is passionate about us, and He's full of love. In fact, the Bible says He's not just full of it, He is love. Amen. He is defined love in all its aspects. Woo! And you know what? I need to taste heaven's love, because I can't pass it on unless I taste it. And we can love people with human love out of our head. Our theology says, we're supposed to love one another, so I'll just try to love this guy. And he's a bit irritating, but I'll try and love him. Do you understand? We try hard to love people with human love. But when you've been touched by love from heaven, something changes. And you find that you can see people, even people you disagree with, and you can look at them, and you can just say, you know what, I really love you. Can I hug you? And that's a sign of the love that God has. When I met the Father first time, and I was like an explosion in my heart of this love that He had, there were things that changed in my life. Number one, I loved my wife more than ever. I loved my kids. I couldn't stop telling my kids, I love you. And I would call them at odd moments and say, I was just thinking about you, and I just wanted to tell you that I really, really love you. I'm your dad, and I love you. Finally, my middle child, the daughter, said to me, Dad, what's happened to you? What do you mean, what's happened? Well, she said, you've always been a loving father, but she said, now it feels as though you're on steroids. It's like you're on, I can feel, and she said, my boyfriend's noticed. It's like you're different. I want to be different. Don't you want to be? I don't want to be the same as the people in the world, and I don't want to just have a half-Christian smile on my face. I want to be a carrier of a virus that is very powerful and infectious. How many of you want to be powerful carriers of an infectious virus? Yay! We should be grabbing it with both hands and say, anybody I touch, whew, something's going to happen. So number one, you've got to know by encounter who you are. By hearing His voice, just like Jesus did. Jesus was pioneering for us. He was demonstrating it. This is what it's like. You've got a dad who will constantly say very good things to you. Because He's a kind Father. And you know what? God doesn't have any negatives on you. No. Jesus took every negative to the cross. Didn't He? Amen. He took every negative that was ever written about you, everything that was written against you, He took it to the cross. In heaven, there are no negatives on you. In fact, heaven likes rejoicing with you. Heaven likes you when your head's lifted up. Heaven likes it when you're feeling, oh my goodness, I'm loved by a dad. And yes, I've made mistakes, and I still make mistakes, but He's very kind, and He forgives me, He washes me clean, so I can walk the walk that Jesus walked. So number one, who are you? Hey, by the way, we were in Amsterdam a week last Monday to do a school for the week Monday to Friday. And we did an identity session. One of the young ladies, 24-year-old, taught on destiny. And on identity. And she asked people to ask the Holy Spirit, what is the false identity I have been living with all these years? Because it's ever so easy living in a fallen world to pick up a false identity. And my thing was the teacher thing, and I thought that was the big one in my life, but I discovered it was not the big one. There was a more vicious one under the surface. So I thought, well, I'll join in. I said, well, I'll ask the Holy Spirit, what's my false identity that I can easily wear? And immediately, he said to me, you think you're a failure. I was wearing a badge saying I'm a failure. But do you know what? This last week, these people were writing down what the Holy Spirit showed them of the false identity they were wearing on their chest. And you know, the majority, there were about 50 people on the school, and the majority of them were saying, I am unworthy, I'm pretty useless, don't count for much, not good enough. And they went out to the front and said to everybody, a long queue waiting to say, this is my false one, but I've just asked the Holy Spirit what my true one is, and then they would say something else. And you just look at them and you think, oh my goodness, and they'd be, quite a lot of them were crying while they were trying to say it, because they discovered there was something in their heart that waged war with this incredible Father's call upon them that they were clinging to. And I realized that because of the way my dad was, he never kind of said he loved me, and he was very pushy in terms of telling me to become a doctor. And I said, oh, well, Dad, it's not going to work because I faint at the sight of blood. I'd like to be a teacher. And he said, oh. And what I actually felt was, I felt like I was a disappointment to him. And because I'd chosen to be a teacher, I was actually a failure because he wanted me to be a doctor. And you can think, well, in the end he must have agreed and saw that I did really well in the teaching profession, and he must have been pleased. But you know what? He could never say, you know, I was wrong about you being a doctor. You're actually right on target with your destiny. And at that time, I was right on target with my destiny. I think I still am. So I realized I carried this false feeling inside on a dull Monday morning where I just felt like, you know what? Okay. I knew all the scriptures that would contradict that in my head, and I could declare them out, but my heart was actually clinging to a false identity. And somebody wrote a book where they researched it, and they said, we think in both places, don't we? As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. In other words, it's what you think here that defines how you live your life and what you are. But we also think here. And we've been trained by our education system to think that this is the most important place to think in. But actually, this is the important place because it defines you. And so I've been heard all that, never dealt with it, was working hard to please God and make sure I wasn't a disappointment to people or a failure, but actually inside my heart I was actually clinging on to this thing like, you're a bit of a disappointment, you're actually a failure. When I asked the Holy Spirit, what's my true identity? You know, he tells me stuff that's like, tears come to my eyes because it's so good and it's so real to me. He says, you're my lovely, fun-loving son. Every one of us needs a dad who will say to us incredibly positive things like that we'd never think them ourselves. We might not even be able to pin down a verse in the Bible, but actually there's lots of stuff about who you are in the scripture. But actually he says something totally, it wasn't in the Bible, it's like, you're my amazing, fun-loving son. It's like, yeah, I do like fun actually. I like messing about. Especially in church. Because I think it's supposed to be a place of joy.
Yes.
In fact, one day I was talking to God about something that had happened in Russia when we were visiting there. Something really, you know, the guy was telling everyone not to listen to me. Because I've been to Toronto. And we all know that everybody goes to Toronto, lies on the floor asleep, and they never do anything with God. That's the conclusion they came to. They've never been to the revival, they've never seen what's happened, or the amazing things that came out of that revival. So I'm laughing in the garden about this guy who is introducing me but telling them in the introduction not to listen to me. And I'm laughing. And God speaks to me. He goes, David, I love your sense of humour. You make me laugh. And immediately instead of laughing, I'm crying. Oh my God. Because my dad has just said intimate thing to me that says, your sense of humour is okay. Guess what happened when I was a teenager? I laughed in church.
Oh,
Because somebody holding the bread and wine at the back slipped off onto the floor because they're sitting on a bench and everybody else stood up for him, and the bench went up and the man holding the bread and wine went on the floor. I can see it because I'm playing the instrument, and I can see it and I'm laughing hysterically. In fact, he could only get up when the second verse of the hymn came. And the second verse on that day was this: too soon we rise, the cymbals disappear. And when we got to that, I was just holding myself laughing. And when I get home, because my dad is one of the pastors, he calls me into his study and he says, David, you need to stop making jokes in church. It's a very serious business, so stop it.
oh no.
Stop. Shh. Not mention any names. You understand? You can have stuff spoken over by your dad, and especially if he's a spiritual man and he's a leader, and you think it comes from heaven that the church is supposed to be really serious and we shouldn't be laughing. And the funniest thing for me, not one other person laughed. They saw what happened, but they went, oh, that's terrible. I thought it was hilarious. And I think the angels were laughing as well. And I think God was laughing as well. It's so fun. It's just funny. So when God said that to me, He lifted off me that thing that my dad said to me all those years before, that inside I always felt guilty if I did any jokes when I was preaching. And finally just broke that off me by telling me that He came in the opposite spirit. And He goes, I love your sense of humour. You make me laugh. And the picture of God laughing at my jokes was just, I just cried. Because I couldn't handle it. It was like, oh my goodness, this dad is very real and close to me. He's not pushed so high and me pushed so low. And so the process of getting to know this father is this father becoming the present father, and me being lifted out of the ground from being a miserable worm to actually being a member of his family. And I'm in the most royal families on the face of the earth. You know that? And so are you. You are members of that. So first thing is your identity. I wonder if you could easily do that tonight. You could just spend some time with God and you could say, God, am I wearing a false identity? Not at a head level, but at a heart level. What am I carrying? What's been said over me that I feel in my heart, and that's become my identity? And ask Him to show you what your false one is. Then you say, oh, I can't believe that that's what I'm believing. It's like there's stuff in there that... And then ask Him and say, what's my true identity? What's the truth from heaven for me today? And share your testimony next Sunday. And say, this is what God showed me. And this is what the Holy Spirit said to me. And I just cried for half an hour because I had this underlying feeling all the time that I was probably missing everything and wouldn't quite make it, and all the other stuff. And the devil desperately wants you to keep your old identity. Fake, false identity. Desperately wants you. Because he knows if you miss your identity, you'll never step into your destiny. And we have got big destiny things coming up. Do you realize? Woo-hoo. When am I supposed to finish? Did you say 4 o'clock? When the Holy Ghost tells me. I love these two. It's so crazy. I just love them. They always say outrageous things, which I quite like. So let's just get right into this now. Second thing he says, the kingdoms of the world, the devil says, they've been given to me. Who gave him the kingdoms of the world? Adam in the garden. He passed on the authority to rule that had been given to him by God, and because he sinned, he handed it to the devil. And the devil says, for it has been given to me. And the devil sussed out exactly what the destiny of Jesus was, why this dangerous figure was walking the face of the earth. He sussed it out. He thought, this guy has come to take the kingdoms from me and bring them back to God. That's what he's come to do. He spotted it. So he says to him, he takes him up into this big mountain, he shows him all the kingdoms of the earth. And he says, in a moment, he goes, whoa, if you worship me, you can have them now. You don't need to go through all the rest of the stuff. He's kind of guessing, half guessing what Jesus may have come for. Because the Bible says that if the demons had known what Jesus was doing on the cross, they would never have crucified him. They would never have done that. And the devil got deceived by his own deception, and he just hurtles Jesus to the cross, not knowing that it's going to be the biggest victory for God that would ricochet around the whole universe forever. Woo! Can you see it? Amen. Woo. So the devil goes for it. He says, I can get you the kingdom in the easy way. Just worship me. It'll be easy. Yeah, easy. But actually, that's our destiny. Our destiny is, because we are heirs and joint heirs with Jesus, our destiny is to have the kingdoms of the world and return them to the Father. Isn't it? What does he say in Psalm 2? God says to Jesus, he said, ask of me, and I'll give you nations as your inheritance. Ask of me. And God says that to his son. It means also, because we're joint heirs, he's also going to ask you and I, what is it you want? What do you want? What do you want right now in the 21st century with all the chaos that's going on? What are you asking God for? I'm asking God for the UK. I'm saying when I'm in prayer, I'm going, God, I want the UK as my inheritance because I'm a joint heir with Jesus, and I want the UK returned to God, and I want a flood of revival to hit the UK. I want my nation back. It's been kidnapped and taken away, and there's destructive things going on, but God, I'm standing here, I want it back. Yeah, I want it back. So you know, you and I have a destiny. Once we got a revelation in here that we are loved by this Father and we are his sons and daughters, for real, not just for theologically real, but heart real, God will start opening up doors for your destiny. He'll put something on you. You may get a passion for your local town. You may get a passion for a city. You may get a passion for the whole nation. I'm not trying to be smart or anything, because I'm on a bit of a journey of surprise, but I constantly have feelings. I need to pray for the Prime Minister and for the government and then declaring things. Because, well, I met this lady once in Newcastle, and both her parents were in the House of Lords for different reasons. Her dad had been promoted to the House of Lords, and so had her mother, and they were currently in the House of Lords. And we were talking about how to affect a government, how to change a government. And she said it's very, very strange, but when bad things are happening, her parents get thousands of letters from Christians saying the most appalling things. And they criticise them and say, you've gone wrong there, and you should have voted that, and the nation's a disgrace, and it's blah, 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 and Parliament. They say the most horrific things, but she said, when we stand up for something that's to do with God, and it's a good thing that happens, not a word do we hear from any Christian. There are no letters. And I'm listening to this lady, and she's telling me the experience of her parents. I'm thinking, why do we do that? Why do we focus on the negatives? When actually we should be, I've written to the Prime Minister, I've written to the Queen. When the Queen says her Christmas speech, she preaches the gospel every Christmas, doesn't she? Humdinger. Humdinger. She preaches the gospel. I wrote to her, I just said, message this Christmas was absolutely brilliant. I think you're doing a great job. And I pray for you. And I get a nice letter back from a lady in waiting who said her gracious majesty was most pleased to receive your letter. But you know what? I want to say positive things. Because there's such a call on all of us to actually declare the impossible. Because if you read the papers, you'll say it's impossible this nation can be turned back to God. But God says revival is coming, and I am prepared to believe it. And I'm not just going to believe it, I'm going to declare it out, and I'm not going to use negativity to kill people with my words to say you're a disgrace, you're a... I'm not. I'm actually going to pray that God will intervene, and they'll start having dreams like the Muslims having dreams about the 9/11. And they start having dreams because they're waking up in the morning and declaring that that's going to happen in every city, in every town, and it's going to fill this nation until the nation returns to the Lord. That's what we're going to do. This is a big thing. And God may put other nations on your heart. Go for it and pray for those nations. Find out something about them, and then pray for the president. You may think, yeah, he's an evil, wicked man. Well, you need to pray because the Bible tells us to pray for those in authority, doesn't it? It doesn't say pray against them. It says pray for them. And then, of course, the last temptation is very simple. It's a case of do something spectacular to win people's affection. Isn't it interesting that Jesus, wherever he went, he's come to heal them and he said, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anyone. Keep it quiet. I don't want to do a big spectacle. It was like Jesus didn't want people to come to him with the wrong motive. Do you know what I mean? Like the wrong motive, like, oh, we're coming for all the miracles he does. We're coming for all the benefits we can get. And therefore, that's the temptation. Do something spectacular so people will come to you. And Jesus says, no, thank you. I'm doing it my dad's way. And my dad loves me. He's for me. And I don't do anything unless he tells me. Isn't that amazing? What if the whole church decided to live like that? What if we decided that we wouldn't do anything unless God told us, unless we saw it by vision, what God was doing? We say, right, I'm going to do what God shows me to do. Otherwise, we might turn into Marthas rather than Marys. Do you think? Oh, Martha's busy doing things that Jesus hadn't asked for. Mary just has time with Jesus because she knows that intimacy is very, very important. I want to hear this because when I hear this voice, this heaven voice, it encourages me and lifts me up. Amen. Amen. So we have to have time with him. We have to have time with him, not just to read our Bible and pray every day, but actually to hear what he's saying to us and the pull that he's pulling us into our identity and then our destiny. And destiny is a big thing. We're going to see some things wrought in our nations around the world. Amazing thing. Going to happen. Anybody here excited about the possibility? Amen. That might be true. Amen. Good. Shall we pray? Yes. Would you mind standing up, and I'm going to lead you in a prayer. I want to describe what the prayer's like. I'm going to lead you in a prayer. Because the truth is, every one of you are very precious in the eyes of God. You're very valuable. You're not worthless. You're not a mistake. You're not an accident. You are meant to be here. And these are critical days for the world, but especially for our nation. So let's pray this prayer. Daddy, I'm here today. Daddy, I'm here today. Thank you for loving me.
Thank you for loving me.
Your love is the best love in the whole universe. And you're the best dad.
You're the best dad.
Ever. And you're always faithful. You're always loving. You're always kind. You build me up. You're my best encourager. And I love having you as my dad. And Dad, wherever there's any emptiness in my heart, and Dad, where there's emptiness in my heart, I want to hear truth from heaven
Hear truth
into my heart so that I really, really know that I'm loved, I belong, I'm on the inside of the family. I'm not a failure, not a mess. I'm one of the glorious sons and daughters that are going to be revealed. I'm one of the glorious sons and daughters that are going to be revealed. Father, I ask you to show me any false identities I'm wearing. And Father, I ask you to show me any false identities I'm wearing. Because of the experience of my life. I want to tear off every false identity.
Tear off every false identity.
And I want to hear from heaven what my true identity is before you.
I want to hear from heaven what my true identity is.
So come and allow me to encounter your love.
So come, allow me to encounter your love.
I pray this.
Pray this
In Jesus' name.
in Jesus' name. Amen.